So now for writing C code, what are the basic thing that we have to understand? So first we have to understand one thing that is known as data type. What are the components involved in any C programming? The first thing is known as data type. First, I will tell you what are the different kinds of data type we have in C. So basically we have three specific types of data type. One is primitive data type. Second one is user defined data type. And the third one is known as enum data type. So today we will only concentrate on this primitive data type. So what do you mean by primitive data type? Please try to understand. This data type is already defined by the inventor of the C. So the person is known as name as Dennis Ritchie, who has invented some of the data types. So that initial kind of data types that we cannot change. Whatever will be the form of the data type, I have to use them as it is. So these are the some commonly used primitive data types. Now first we have to understand what it is. What do you mean by data type? See, in case of C programming, we have to deal with some values. We have to deal with some values. Now, whenever we are dealing with some values, we need some container. We need some container to store these values. So this is the important thing. So basically the container that holds the value is known as variable, right? So we can think of a variable as a container that can hold some values. Now these variables can be of specific types. Why? Because I can store some integer value. I can store some floating point value, and I can also store some character. So it is possible. So basically my point is I can store any kind of variable, or I can use any kind of variable in my program according to my choice. So basically the variables may be of many types. So the container that will hold the variable will be of different types. Now, what will be the type of the container, or what will be the type of the value? It is determined by the data type. So what is the definition of the data type? So data type will determine what kind of variable we are going to use. So the syntax will be, first we have to write the data type, and then we have to write the variable name, and then we can store the value. So this is the basic syntax of using data type. For an example, if I choose to use primitive data type int, then I will write int here. So this is the data type, and then we have to use a container to hold the value. So this container name means a variable name can be anything, A, B, C, D up to Z, but remember it should be in small letter. So in C, the variable name should be in small letter. You can take anything. And then I can put some value. Say I want to store 5 in A. So what is the meaning of this? Please try to understand. Whenever I write this line, what will happen? The meaning of this line is my intention is to store a value which is of type integer, right? For that reason, I have created one container, and type of this container is integer. This is the meaning. If I want to store some floating point value to some container, B, if I want to store it here, then the type of the B must be a floating point type. So I have to write float. And the third point, if I want to store some character, Say I want to store some character A, B, C, D, capital A, small a, anything. So I have to again create a container, say C, but this container, the type of the container should be character. But remember one thing, whenever we store some integer, we have to write straight away the value. Whenever we have to store some floating point value, we will write the value straight away. But whenever we want to store some character in C, then it should be written in single quotes. So these are the three primitive data types. Primitive data types means I have just discussed. Today what we are discussing the principle. Now I will discuss what is the underlying principle here. Please try to understand. So whenever I write this line, then I have discussed in morning that whatever we do in the source code, it is stored in the memory, in the secondary memory, right? So now I will tell you what effect you will find in the memory. So whenever you write this line, na, int a equal to 5, in memory what will happen? A space will be created, right? And name of the space will be a, because the space name should be determined by the variable name. If it is A, then it is A. If it is B, then it is B. Now, what will be the size of this space? The size of this space, memory space, will be determined by the size of the data type. So, in recent days, the size of the integer is of 4 byte. So, as a result, the size of this space will be 4 byte. Now, the next thing that I was discussing, whenever we accommodate some area in the memory, then that area is just like a house. And we know that to identify a house uniquely, that house should have a address. So each and every memory space should have a address. So for an example, say this address is 1000. So this is the address. And since I want to store 5 in this container, so the content of this memory area will be 5. So this is the actual meaning of this notation. I'm just repeating it again. So consider this case. So in this case, our container name is C, right? So a memory space will be created and name of this memory space will be C. First point. Second point, what will be the size of this memory space? It is determined by the size of the data type. And it is known that the size of the character data type is 1 byte. So the size of this space will be 1 byte. And what we are intended to store? We are going to store a value which is A. So A will be stored here. And what is the rule? Since we are accommodating some memory space, so each memory space should have a initial address. So this is the actual meaning or actual effect when we are defining any variable, and this is the effect in the memory. Now we have a very significant question. Please try to understand this point. But in some cases, it may happen that I will write just the data type and the variable name, and that's it. I am not giving any value initially. So the meaning is I am not initializing the variable. So in that case, please try to understand in memory what will happen. Again, a space will be created A and a address will be there and size is 4 byte. But since no content is given, so here nothing will be there. So here nothing means you can say that it will be 0, or nothing means it can be null. But remember one thing, there is a problem in C. What is the problem? If you are not initializing anything, means I'm just not writing anything, int a equal to 0 or 5. If int a is defined as it is, then C will not understand what should be the initial value. It is 0 or it is null. It don't know. So as a result, it will store some haphazard value. some hexa value, some octal value, some any value which is larger enough and that value has no meaning. So this kind of value in C is known as garbage value. So please try to understand. Today my point is, whenever you are defining any variable in C, so either you put some initial value to this variable, or you can take the value in any other means you cannot just define the variable. If you just define the variable without initializing it, then C program will take some garbage value. So as a result, what will happen, whenever you are going to use this variable again in your program for performing some specific action of task, multiplication, addition, then it will not give you the desired output. It will give you the output garbage value into the calculation. So you never get a proper output. So my point is, today C variables or C programming language and its variables are prone to garbage values if it is not initialized properly. It is the very important point, but you will understand this thing later, that why Java is so popular, because in Java there is no question of garbage value. So whatever may be the definition and whatever may be the situation you are defining your variable, if you define your variable just like this, Java will initialize it by 0. So there is no question of garbage value in Java. So in C, please be careful. Whenever we code something, we have to avoid the garbage value. So how to avoid the garbage value? The technique number one is, whenever you are defining any variable, just put some initial value, 0, null, anything. The second thing is, which is very important, the second alternative is, you can do one thing, that is, you can take the value. So whenever we are taking the value like this, na, so it is known as static assignment. Means what is the value, I am just giving it manually. So this is your static assignment. So this is your option number one to avoid garbage value. But option number two is very interesting, that we will take the value from the user. So the second option is, we will take the value from the user. Now, how to take the value from the user? So C will provide me one library file that I was discussing. So C will provide me a function which is known as scanf. So using scanf, I can take value from the keyboard. From the keyboard. But remember one thing, this scanf function has two parts. In the first part, you have to define what kind of value you want to take. What kind of value you want to take. This thing you have to state. And in the second part, you have to state in which container. In which container you want to take, or in which variable you want to take this value. So how to differentiate this two state? This two state is differentiated by a comma. So before comma, I have to state that I want to take a integer value from keyboard. So to determine that, the integer value is represented by %d. So %d is used as a specifier to make compiler understand that, okay, I'm going to take some integer value from the keyboard. If I want to take some character value, I will use the specifier %c. Or if I want to take some floating point value, I will use the specifier %f. So if from the keyboard I want to take some integer value, I have to use one specifier. So I'm using %d. %d means I am going to take integer value. So compiler will understand. Now, where should I take this? Say I want to take this value in the container A. So A means A is the variable that will act as a holder or the container. So whatever value I will take from the keyboard, say I'm taking 5, this 5 will be stored inside A. This is my point. But before that, before this scanf, one thing we have to do is that we have to define this A. So here we will define the data type of A. Means I am creating a variable A which is capable of holding integer kind of value. So this is the so now the third step is very, very important. I tell you that whenever we are writing this kind of thing, then a memory space will be created and there will be some address. So to determine the address means here I want to state that I want to store the integer value into the variable A of some specific location. Of at some specific location I want to store the value. So to determine this word some specific location, I have to use one symbol that is known as ampersand. So what is my point? My point is in case of C, we are fine with if we define some variable. So why we define a variable? We define a variable in order to store some value. But what will happen if we forget to store give a initial value to a variable, then C program can give you some garbage value. So how to avoid garbage value? We can initial it by some specific value or some by some zero value, anything initially. Or we have the second option of using scanf function. And scanf function has two parts. The first part will contain what kind of data I am going to take from the keyboard. If integer, %d, if character, if float, this one. And now in which container I want to store, specify the variable name. And this variable is located as at a specific location of the memory to make this word clear to the compiler. We will use ampersand sign and the scanf will end with a semicolon. I am showing you one syntax. Now, if you are intended to take, means if you want to take some floating point value, then what you will do? It should be very clear to you. Then you will write again a scanf. Fine. Then what is your intention? You want to take what kind of value? Say float. So then what specifier you should use? Percentage F. And then so here say I'm using separate variable. Why separate variable? I will tell you. B and then it is at specific location. But let me complete the syntax first. Apart from this all thing, we have to use one more thing. This first part should be inside the double quotes. Say whenever you are using one variable, you think of it as a single container. That's why I'm using this term. And try to understand a single variable cannot hold multiple data types. What I mean to say is that if you store 5 here, then this container is filled up. No space is left. But what should we do if we want to store multiple data at a time? So at that point of time, a concept of array came. So Dennis Ritchie said that if you want to store multiple values, say 5, 6, 7, 8, everything, multiple values here. So then you should use a data type which look like this. I will tell you 5, 6, 7, 8, something like this. So you can store many values. So again student ask him a question. No, sir, we don't want this. We want multiple values means I can store 5, 5.7, A, B, something like this. Multiple types of value. So at that point of time, Dennis Ritchie think. Then he gave us the solution that is no, it is not possible. Means in the starting of this class, I tell you we have three kinds of data type. One is primitive, one is user defined. Now this data type comes into the picture. If you want to store multiple kinds of data together, then you have to opt for user defined data type. Primitive data types are not sufficient. So we will read this in the next few after few classes. So if you want to store multiple kinds of data of different types, then you need user defined data types. And each and every user defined data type have their own characteristics. When I define user defined data type, you will find that user defined data type itself is a collection of some primitive data types. One point, make it very clear: without primitive data type, I cannot even construct user defined data type. Apart from integer, float and character, is there anything? My answer is no, because default kind of thing exists for Java, not for anything else, because it's advanced programming. So how to store data? See, whenever I'm talking about a single variable, there is nothing to discuss about it, because it will take some chunk of memory. A little chunk of memory will be associated with it. Now you can ask me one question. No, ma'am, my question is, you are stating that we have some memory. In memory, variables will be stored. Now, what is the order of this storage? See, this order means, say if I have multiple variables, int a, float b, character c, then a will be stored here, b will be stored here, c will be stored here. So what is the ordering? So your answer is, the ordering is known as non-contiguous allocation. What is the meaning of non-contiguous allocation? Means there is no such ordering. Whichever place is available currently, at that position the variables will be allotted. Got my point? But whenever in the previous days the allocation was contiguous, means the rule was, you have your memory, if you have three variables, store them one after another. So it will have several problems, right? So initially we have read this. So whenever you study operating system, you will find, if we want to store variables one after another, then there will be a several problem, means there will be a chances of wastage of memory. So today, in the current day, we will use this ordering as non-contiguous allocation ordering. Please remember this term. So it means a variable can be allotted anywhere in the memory. Whichever space is empty, the variable will be allotted there. For that reason, I was discussing, I don't know what will be the starting address of the memory. That's why I was stating this point. So this is the thing that we have to understand. So this is the first function that we are using, which is known as scanf. But have another function that is known as printf. So I have discussed up to this, that is scanf function is a good function, and this function is used to take value from keyboard. Now we have another function which is known as printf function. Printf function means whatever we write here, it will be copied directly into the output screen. So whatever we write here, so it means, please see the pattern of the arrow. Scanf means taking something from the input device, something like keyboard. And printf means whatever we write inside the code, I want to take it out to the output screen, and the output screen is sometimes known as console. I will tell you that. So printf means printing something, but in C, printf statement has different patterns, and we have to see the patterns very carefully. So in the first pattern, if I write something within the double quotes only, say I'm just writing, it is Mac out, right? So if I write something within double quotes, so it means that whatever we write, it will be copied as it is to the output screen. As it is means in the output screen I will find, sorry, Mac out. So I will find Mac out, something like this. And the second pattern is very interesting. That is, say if I am having a value of 5 inside a variable and I want to print it. So I will print it like this. Please try to understand. Then I have to break the printf statement into two parts. In the first part, I will write what kind of value I want to print, what kind of value I want to print, and in the second part, where is my value stored? Where is my value stored? So here the first point is I want to print integer kind of value. So I will write %d. And where my value? Where is my value? It is inside A. And the rule is this D should be written in double quotes. So what is the meaning of that? So if I want to print the value of some variable, then we have to follow the syntax number 2. This syntax number 2 has two parts. The first part contains what kind of value, and the second part contains what is the variable name where I have this value. But sometimes this syntax number 2 has a separate declaration. What is that? I can write it as the value is, then %d, and then I can write A. See, both the thing are same. Here I have added, at this position I have added one string. So what is my convention? The value is. Since this string is written inside double quotes, so in the output console, it will be printed as it is. The value is. Now we have %d also in the double quotes, but since %d is a specifier, it is not a string type of thing. So since it is a specifier, it cannot be printed directly, but it indicates that it will help me to print the content of the variable. So as a result, what is the content of the variable? The content of the variable is 5. So due to the presence of this %d, it will help me to print the content of the variable a, that is 5. So if I use this kind of syntax, you will get this kind of output in the output screen. So be very careful what kind of printf statement you want to use. So these are the two specific format, more precisely three specific format of printf that we have to use repeatedly. And what is the difference between printf and scanf? We know that. Always remember this arrow. And one more difference, in case of scanf, we have to use ampersand in order to make compiler understand that I want to take a value from the keyboard and want to store it in a specific location. So location kind of thing is denoted by ampersand, but do not use ampersand for printf. This is my point. So these are the two functions, library functions, that are used frequently in case of C. And one more thing, these functions are not part of C compiler. So these functions are coming from some library files, and the printf and scanf is coming from the library file stdio.h. So this is the library file name. In this library file name, what is the meaning of printf and what is the meaning of scanf? It is already written. Now, if I want to use this library file in my program, then I have to write hash include. Hash include means I am going to use, then within this symbol, which file, the file name. I want to use this library file stdio.h in my program. Why I need to use this library file name? Because in the later stages, I may have used printf function and scanf function. So for that reason, remember one thing, whenever you want to use this two function in your program, at the initial step, at the beginning, you have to include this file. If you forget to include this file, you know what will happen. It will create a linking error. So this is the point that you have to remember. So this header files basically acts like a glue. So this will, whenever you run your code, the stdio.h file supply the meaning of printf and scanf. And whenever the meaning of printf and scanf is provided by this header file, then compiler can easily compile them and understand them. So without stdio.h, compiler will never understand what is the meaning of printf and scanf. So this is the most important point about C programming. In case of C programming language, there is one problem. What is that problem? If I change the compiler, then according to the type of the compiler, the size of the variable differs. What I mean to say is that if I use the older version of Turbo C++, then there the size of the integer is 2 byte. But in the newer version of the compiler, Dev C++, anything that we will use, Win C++, there the size of the integer is 4 byte, the size of the float is also 4 byte, right? So am I clear to you? So the point you can note here is that the size of the variable for C programming language is dependent on the type of the compiler that we are using. I will tell you, we have so many problems with C programming. That's why Java came into picture. And also you do one thing, you will face one more problem, that is, say I am writing one specific code, right? Say in Dev C++. If you copy the same code in Turbo C++, say you are comfortable with Turbo C++ compiler, if you are copying the same code, then also it will not run. Means compiler to compiler, the syntax will change. So I will tell you each and every syntax in my class. We will use this code blocks. And what will happen for other compiler, I will tell you that. So it is sometimes difficult to understand C programming because in some places we have to use getch function, in some places we have to omit it, in some place we have to write int main, in some place we have to write void main. So we have so many conventions for C. So I will tell you what to do for your exam. So try to understand, note this 2 point. This may be asked in your placement also. What are the problem with C? The first problem is, I have already mentioned, the data type size will vary compiler to compiler. First one. And the second problem is the syntax. Means the basic syntax of the C programming will also vary compiler to compiler. So these are the two basic problems in a C programming. So now I will tell you how to write a simple code. Say I have one simple code, that is how to take, so my intention is to take input from keyboard and print it. So it's simple. So first I have to write, this is the order. First I have to write the header file. First point. Then we have to write the main function. Now what is function, I will tell you later on. I have to write a main function. So why it is a main function? Please try to understand. In C, printf is also a function. Scanf is also a function. So you can find that whenever I'm talking about a function, it should have a name and it has this symbol, right? See, main has a name and it has this symbol. So that's why main is also a function. So what is function, I will tell you later on. So main is a function, right? Now the problem is, before this main, sometimes we have to write void. Sometimes we have to write int. I was talking about it will vary compiler to compiler. In Dev C++, we have to write int. In other compiler, we have to write void. But in some of the compiler, if we don't write anything, then also it will work. So this is the problem with C. So you have to each time remember that which compiler I am using and that compiler supports which kind of syntax. So whatever may be the scenario, the basic pattern is same. So first will be your header file and then it will be your main function. After the main function, definitely you have to define all of your variables. All of your variables. You cannot define variables anywhere else. So immediately after main, you have to define your variable. Now, you have to take your variable value from the keyboard. So for that purpose, you have to prompt the user, that is, take the values. Take the values. Now, using scanf, you can take the values from the keyboard. So these are the, please try to understand the ordering. First will be the header file, second will be the main function, then third will be the variable declaration, and the fourth will be the other functions, printf, scanf. And the ordering of printf, scanf can be anything. It is according to our choice. Please try to remember this. If you wish to write printf before the variable name or scanf before the variable name and then the variable names, it is not possible, because in the C that I was explaining in the previous class, in C, the ordering is fixed. You can't change this ordering. Now, try to understand a very difficult point here. So now my program is to take input, right? So now my intention is to take two input from keyboard. So I'm just telling you. So I'm just writing hash include stdio.h. Why I'm using stdio.h? Because in my programming, I'm going to use printf and scanf. So that's why stdio.h is mandatory. And now say I have two variables A and B, and I want to take the values of A and B from the keyboard. So first option is I can write printf enter value of A. Then I will take the value of A, %d, type of the value within double quotes, comma, A is the variable name and it will be stored in some specific location. Then again I have to write printf enter the value of B, and then again write scanf, then write %d double quotes comma at specific location of B. So this is not a good programming practice. Not a good programming practice. Why? Because please try to understand the principle. Whenever your lines of codes are so many, then it will increase the space of storage. Means this piece of code will be stored in memory somewhere. So it will take a large space. So how can we optimize this space? So instead of writing this for statement, I can write printf enter the value of A and B, right? I can write this. And then in scanf, this two scanf can be merged together. I can write %d, this %d is for A, then again %d, this %d is for B, comma, then ampersand A, comma, ampersand B. So here in scanf, I can take more than one value of the variable within a single line. So this 4 lines is reduced to 2 lines. So this is a good programming practice.